Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Weekend Warriors Workshop. This is another episode of screen printing, and this one, once again, is kind of by request. Now, a friend of mine from the T-shirt forum and a couple other places online said that it's about time I started doing something a little bit more advanced with the screen printing equipment that I'm making. And so he sent me film positives for a 4-color process. So it's a process kind of like doing a color photograph, where you put down 4 separate colors and you end up with a full vivid color image of what you wanted to print. So in this case, he knocked off Iron Man from Marvel Comics. Now, this isn't for sale or anything like that. This is just for playing with the process. And he sent me the 4 film positives. Okay, this is the black, this is the yellow, this is the cyan, and this is magenta. So I've got 4 film positives that I have to work with, and I've got 4 screens prepared. So, and I've made a copy of one of the positives that will give me registration marks to work with. Now, what I found out as I was working with these positives is only 2 of my registration marks are actually aligned for some reason. Had my buddy sent me the original art, I'd probably be able to do all of them. But I found that if I use these 2 that I've drawn arrows next to, I get everything to line up perfectly anyway. So that's what I'm going to work with now. And I've just drawn the arrows on them to remind me which ones I'm going to use. So what I want to do is I want to get my film positive placed down, and I want to line it up on the 2 registration marks, which are essentially nothing more than crosshairs. And of course I need my tape that I set down someplace. There it is. Okay, and this step is known as pre-registration. That is to say, I'm going to get this onto my screen in a position that after I expose the screen, it should be pretty well lined up with the initial image that's down on the platen anyway. And thereby decreasing the amount of time it takes to line up each color. And each color will be lined up to the same set of registration marks. So I just want to make sure that I get them right in the right place there. And just to keep it from scooting around on the platen where I don't want it to, I'm going to put a little teeny tiny piece of tape and hold it down to the platen in opposite corners. And once again, I want to make sure that the crosshairs are properly lined up. Okay, now I've got 2 pieces of tape facing up. So now all it takes is for me to put my screen into place. Set it on down, and I'm not quite where I want to be with the screen. So I'll be right back. Pushed on that a little bit more than I wanted to. There we go. Now let's get my platen back to where I want it to be. That's closer, but not quite there yet. This is the great thing about having an adjustable platen. That's better. That's where I want it to line up on the screen. Now all my screens will be in the proper place to print. So I should now have that film positive stuck to the screen. So all I need to do is get in between, break those two little tape contacts. And now I've got a screen with the artwork in place, ready to go get burned. So I'll repeat this process with the next 3 colors, and then we'll be ready to burn screens. There we go. So now, once again, this is a Yudu screen inside the frame. I've got my image in place. It should land in the same spot. Each screen should land in the same spot on the platen because I've already registered it with the frame. And let me mark this frame as being magenta, like I did the rest of them. Now I'll pull out my Yudu and I'll expose the screen. It's going to take about 6.5 minutes each. Excuse me. That's what my tests on this emulsion have shown me. And then we'll come back and we'll try using our 4-color process ink. It's just hobby stuff from Speedball, but I think it'll do the job just fine. So I'll recharge this battery while I'm burning these screens, and hopefully when we come back we'll be able to print a nice print. So stay tuned. We are back again, and this time we have screens burnt. I've got 4 of them. Just like we were working with yesterday. By the way, it's the following day. And you see I've got them set up. I've already taped all of them off. And this is just packaging tape or carton tape that I bought from Home Depot. It's a little bit less expensive than painter's tape. It holds, and if you get it wet, it falls right off. So it's kind of perfect for my needs. And what I see here is we are pretty much perfectly registered already. And from what we did yesterday, we should have been. Of course, there were some allowances. I did have to make some slight adjustments to the micro tuners, because after all, I'm not using the best screens in the world. These are Yudu screens, so they're not meant to be high quality professional screens. So, you know, there was a little bit of difference when I burnt the screen. I had to do some readjustment, and now they're pretty much right on the money, exactly where I'd want them to be. So we're going to go ahead and start getting printing. A couple things I need to do. I'm not going to tape off the registration marks, but I am going to tape off a peel point where I peeled tape off the emulsion, and the emulsion came away, and there's a couple of pinholes there, so that takes care of that. So all 4 screens, CMYNK. Excuse me. And now I'm going to go ahead and peel my Iron Man picture off the platen because he's no longer needed. Get this tape peeled off too while I'm at it. Now it's time to tack up the board and print. So find my spray tack. Okay, I got it spraying again. And it's not like I'm doing a major run here or anything like that. I'm just going to print 1 or 2 test prints. This whole thing is a learning experience. I'm not going to infringe on Stan Lee's copyright to make a buck. This is of course I don't make a buck printing anyway. But this is a learning experience for me, trying to expand my knowledge, as it were. Make my mentor proud of me. Now I'm just fanning the thing so it kind of tacks up a little bit better without being too sticky or liquidy. Okay, here's a tea that I can test with. It's got one or two prints on it already. And I'm going to start with my yellow screen. And what I have here is a set of Speedball process inks. Now this is water-based. It's not the best stuff in the world. This is real hobby level. But since I don't do this professionally, I figure what the heck. And before I forget, I guess I better go fill my bucket with water so I can drop my tools into it. So I'll be back again. Okay, back again, and I've got my water, my spatula is soaking in the water, and I've got some ink down. Now this ink, this process ink, is a little bit thinner than regular screen printing ink because you're doing wet on wet prints here. The three colors are supposed to mix, giving you your colors of the rainbow as you work. So let's see here. See what I can do here about filling my screen. Yeah, just a nice push stroke. And I've got a bunch of yellow down. I'll go with the magenta. You can see how liquidy this ink is. And something else that's going to help me out today, it's raining, so I don't expect this stuff to dry in the screen quite as quickly as it would on a dry summer day. Ooh, that looks nice so far. Now we'll go with the cyan. If I can get my screen out of the holder. By the way, if any of you have a better idea for a screen holder than the one I stole from those other guys, I would love to hear it. Look how that's turning out. I'm pretty darn impressed with that. Doctor, I hope you're watching, because after all, this is all you. Once again, I have a mentor. He runs a business called Tigeron Graphics in Indiana, Fort Wayne to be exact. And the man has been helping me learn how to screen print for, I'd say 2 to 3 years now, ever since I started. And okay, I ran out of disk space on that other one, but here's what we look like with all 4 colors printed now. And I'm pretty darn happy with the way that turned out. And this is, once again, just a test tee. Let's see if I can do it again. Once again, another old beat-up test tee. Just enough blank space on it to print this. So, and again, I'll start with the yellow. Didn't get a real good shot on the yellow that time. That may have been too much, but we'll see. Had a little pull up here, I don't like that. Again, the magenta. Still looking pretty peachy there. Now the cyan. And the black. Now, I seem to have lost the squeegee, so I'm printing the black with just a little 3.5 inch, which means I got to flood, and flood, and flood, and then push my ink a section at a time. Not the best way to do it, but still effective. So, I got no complaints with the way this is turning out. If only I could have somebody do my artwork like this for me every time. Now, here's something I've got to point out, though. Okay, I'm using the T-press, homemade screen press. I'm using Yudu screens in frame adapters. 3 of them are 220 mesh. The black one was a 110 mesh. The emulsion I'm using is the Screen Printing Superstore's house brand, their Diazo emulsion. And I'm using Hobby Inks, Speedball Process Ink with Jacquard Black. That the only time I'm using this Jacquard Black is when it's a real wet day, because it dries out and clogs your screens in a heartbeat. I probably could have used Plastisol Black to finish it off. But I'm doing this with all hobby materials, and this is a fairly advanced technique. Now all I have to do is get it down where I can do this artwork myself. So one more time, let me go dig out one more tee and see how this looks on a gray shirt. Okay, now let's try this again, shall we?
I like the way it mixes and the orange just pops up out at you. Okay, the black's already starting to dry up on me and clog the screen. Which is what led me to try out plastisol for the first time. And I'll tell you what, I sure do like plastisol a lot better than this jacquard black crap. And there we go again. Poof. Boom, pop. I like it. Hope you do too. So again, Tigeron, thank you very much for the artwork and the inspiration. Thank you all for watching. So now you see what you can do with this this homemade setup if you just put your mind to it and are willing to practice a little bit. That's it. Y'all have a nice day. We'll see you later. Bye.